Lake Iseo is about 60 miles east of Milan. And in that lake, there's a small island home to about 2,000 people. It's a population that's totally dependent on boats and ferries. And Christo, who's wrapped the Reichstag building in Berlin, who's outlined whole islands with bright pink cloth, got an idea.
The project is now another 7 months to go. They will walk on the water.
They'll walk across the water?
Yeah, they literally walk on the water.
On a path of yellow fabric on top of 200,000 plastic cubes. This is the first project Christo will do without his wife, Jean-Claude. She passed away in 2009. And like their past projects, the floating piers will be in place for a limited time.
This project will never be repeated.
Christo and his team will disassemble it after about 2 weeks.
When the project is happening, this very precious time, for a few days, the people know that they're at the site of something, because every human is unique in the world, and they like to witness something unique.
What's also unique is how these multi-million-dollar projects are financed. Early on, Christo and Jean-Claude decided they needed to do things differently, out of necessity. He says collectors and dealers are notoriously slow payers.
We cannot say to our workers on Friday we cannot pay them because Mr. Smith, who bought, is not paying yet.
In 1982, Christo and Jean-Claude formed CVJ Corporation, headquartered in Delaware. It sells Christo's original works of art from the 1950s to the present. Drawings, collages, fabric, and there's a subsidiary for each project. Right now, Christo is working on 3 of them, including the floating piers.
Cutting or sewing the fabric was very complex.
Christo also buys back his artwork if he sees it on the market and thinks it's undervalued.
We're now the biggest owners of works of art we have.
These projects often take years. It took 24 years for Christo and Jean-Claude to get permission from New York City to do the gates, from then Mayor Michael Bloomberg.
Has it gotten easier as you've become better known, as your projects have become better known, to get past the regulatory hurdles? Are people more willing to have your artwork?
No. Cannot believe it, how difficult it is. Never. I'm not masochist. I would love to have an easy way.
Christo keeps busy. When we spoke, he was days away from a trip to Abu Dhabi to work on another of the 3 projects he's juggling right now. Christo is 80, and as our interview ended, we asked him if he has even more projects planned.
Jean-Claude was saying, we're so young and very easily excited, and if we have a new idea, we tell you right away. And if I have a new idea, probably we'll learn right away.
David Gura, Bloomberg, New York.
I believe in love. walked away. 'Cause there were no more reasons to stay. I'm trying to forget the